All right, you all, we're here for another episode of Harvesting Coaching. I'm Justin Harvesting, also known as JD. This is
Paulette Diane Harvison, Mama, aka JD's mama.
Yeah, that's
Is that what you said?
no. Well, I said I'm here with.
Oh, okay. We all know our mama. He's son. Okay.
All right. So anyway, so today we're going to talk about things my mom has learned as she's gotten older. Any words of wisdom, any experiences that she can share, but also just talking about, I don't know, her experiences growing up to now. So, Ma, what have you learned if you've gotten older?
Okay, as I've gotten older, I really learned the expression, this too shall pass. Someone told me that years ago, said this too shall pass. First time I've ever heard it, and first I'm going, hey? So I was in like the 20s. What is that? But as I got older, this too shall pass. Whatever you going through, it's not gonna last always normally, and this too, and you're gonna get through it, and you better when you come out on the other side. So this too shall pass was one of the main things. Another thing that I learned as I got older is learn how to take care of myself with my health, and the sickness caused me to make that is to learn. You learn from your illness. You learn from your body. You learn to let your body tell you things when it's in trouble. So I've learned that, cut back on what I'm eating, trying to eat better, trying to manage the weight. It may be a lot, but in turn, it's better living. So I've learned that as I've gotten older. When I was little, like my parents told me, be choice about who your friends are. Choose your friends wisely. And I've learned that too. And you know what? Basically, every person that I've called a very, very close friend, they are still in my life today. They are still precious to me today. We still stay in contact. And people that I have met along the way, from childhood up, if I called them a friend and we had the connection, we still in contact today. Friendship comes from both sides. So I've learned that too. And sometimes friendship, to be a friend, it's not hard keeping a friendship once you're a friend. That's an easy thing. Maintaining contact. It's not difficult. Yeah, we get busy and we forget sometimes, but still those people back in our mind. And another thing I've learned is when somebody's on your mind, it's best to go ahead and call them right then. Take the time, especially if somebody you done heard is sickly or elderly or whatever. Take the time, call them right then, because I've learned that. And two, I've learned that people don't live always. So you hear that they're sick, you call them right then, because no hour, no minute or second is promised to nobody. I've learned that as I've gotten older.
Yeah, that's important too. They definitely taught me the value of time and friendship. Kind of like what she said. I'm like my dad, more so I'm an extrovert, and so I've gained a lot of friends. I'm thankful for that. But even in doing that, I've learned that, like she said, it's not that it's hard, but you got to be intentional about being a friend. You might not talk to them every day, shoot, not even every month, but when you do reach out, see how they're doing, check on them. And honestly, some people may not respond the way you want them to respond all the time because life gets busy. People have kids. If you don't have kids, you got a job. You're trying to get a job. People have 2 or 3 jobs. They might still be in school. So it's like being aware, but also you have those friends that you can call anytime. When you look at people just in general, you have a lot of friends and friendships are good, but learning that over time. But also seeing my mother and my father be good friends. When I was growing up, they had friends over the house. It was cooking for them, hosting, or we would go visit people that were sick. We would go check on people in hospitals. I grew up on it. We would go to people's houses on some Sundays after church. Like, I grew up seeing my parents be good friends, and so therefore they taught me how to be a good friend, but how to be a sincere friend, not asking for much, just being there. And if they did have to ask for something, they returned it or they helped out in a different way. Like, I saw what it meant to be a friend, and so I'm grateful for that. What's something you've learned about peace as you've gotten older, like, protecting your peace of mind?
Oh, I've learned how to say no or just don't care. I'm sorry.
That's good. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, he knows it.
I know. Yeah,
And when I
that's
say I don't care,
she don't care. That's
I
kind of
don't
where
care.
I. Like,
That's the only way to have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's kind of where
I
that's right.
don't. You know, as you get older, you don't care what people think of you as much because I don't have nothing to prove to you anymore. You either take me or you don't. I've gotten peaceful with accepting me and finding peace in me and like I said and putting God first in my life. That's the only person that I'm trying to please. That's it. God, and I figure that as long as I'm happy and God's happy and he's pleased with me and I know that he's pleased with me, that's all that matters. Yeah, I want to have friends or whatever, but I'm not into that. That was a younger thing. I'm not into trying to prove anything to anyone anymore. And we always used to say, our friends, we used to laugh at ourselves and say, we 50 now, we grown. Okay? And that may be the reason when you see the older people out, I'm not giving an excuse because they shouldn't do that, but some do. Older people figure like, you don't tell me what to do anymore. Yeah. That you see them snapping off at everybody. I'm not saying that kind of peace. Now, I don't want to be getting my peace on somebody else's misery. It doesn't cost all
That's
of
a
that.
bar.
Yeah. It's not worth all that just because I'm older and you sitting there 20 and you making a mistake because you're human or you just don't know. So I don't get my peace that away when I say that I don't care what other people think. But I do care about that other individual. And I can get peace from helping somebody else. That gives me peace. If ain't nobody got to know who I'm helping. Nobody got to know what I'm doing. And any kind of, like I said, I get peace from that. That way of serving or that way of helping others or doing things quietly. That gives me peace because I know, like I said, I'm doing something that Jesus would want me to do.
Yeah, that's important. I definitely feel that. Especially when it comes to pleasing people, because I'm kind of like that now too. Like I was raised to be like that in a unique way, to not care what people think about you. That this is what it is. I was raised to be that way, raised to be straightforward. But in addition to that, there's a way to do that and be respectful, but also like, hey, I'm doing me, you be you. When I was in middle school, I hung out with what they would consider the nerds or whatever, and it's funny looking at time changing, right? So like when I was growing up, nerds were getting picked on. Now nerds are like who people come to, but I think too at that time we were okay with watching anime and being in the Pokemon cards, playing video games, and we had a group of people. I remember going to one of my boys' house, like it was Heath and Jared and all that man and Charles, who would play video games, and we had at that time it was an old school Xbox System Link. So in order for all of us to play, everybody had to have an Xbox, and you had one Xbox with like 4 people on each TV. And those days were amazing. But nowadays you don't do this much. But I bring it up because we didn't really care what people thought about us. We just enjoyed time with each other. On Saturday mornings, my mom used to take me to, was it Books A Million?
Yes, drop me off
at Books A Million at the mall in Jackson, Old Hickory. And we would do Pokemon card trading and Pokemon card battles on Saturday mornings. Like, is what we did. So I didn't really care what people think. And but here's the thing, I noticed as I've gotten older, became a part where I did start to care what people thought about me.
Yeah,
I did, and that was a weird thing that happened to me. It was a transition. I don't know if it's because it was post grad school, but I started to kind of move differently because I don't know if I was entering into the professional world. More eyes were on you because of what you're doing, and more people are involved in like, hey, you do this, or can you do this for me? And I kind of lost that part of myself. So when a person struggles with being who they are, what's some advice you can give them?
Okay, God created you as an individual. Nobody else. There's nobody else in this world with your DNA. And you were created for a reason. And you were created for your purpose, not everybody else's purpose. So when you live according to that life, you're going to be able to find the peace and to enjoy yourself better when you find that. And then, like I said, when everything goes back to God, and because God loved you first, so everything goes back to Him. And that's what I would tell anybody that's trying to fit in. And I see so many people, so many women, so many girls, especially women. We are trying to look like somebody else. We've gotten I'm so glad we've gotten back to natural hair. We're trying to fit in and look like somebody else. We're trying to do our nose different, color our eyes different, because we're not pleased with ourselves. And then somebody may argue with me, well, I'm happy with myself. I just want to be better. Well, that's your choice. But don't try to put your choice on me. Let me accept me for me. Don't talk about me, and I won't talk about you. And that, like I said, and that's also a God thing. You just leave people alone and let people be. And just like you walk with Jesus and not with somebody else. Do what Jesus would do and not what they would do. You know, maybe I don't have to have the biggest house, or maybe I don't have to live, maybe I don't have to dress as well as everybody else, or whatever. Be uniquely yourself.
All right. I think that's a good point to end it on. Shout out to Ma for those nuggets. Hope you learned something from it. I did too. We had these conversations a lot, just in general. But thank you all for another episode of Harvest and Coaching Conversations with Ma. We'll see you again soon. And what are you doing? You smiling already?
I'm smiling because, hey.
Because, hey, what? What was that? You smiling because, hey.
Because I get to say goodbye. I'm just being honest.
Yo, this is my mom. These are real moments, and I'm glad we catch them on camera. All right, see y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Smiling because I'm saying, hey.